God has already chosen your soulmate high voltage, and the name is about to shock you. My beloved soul, pause for a moment and breathe slowly, because what you are about to hear is not ordinary, it is not random, and it is not just another message passing through your day. This is alignment, this is divine timing, this is the whisper of destiny reaching you exactly when your heart is ready to receive it. You have been wondering for so long who that person will be, when they will arrive, why your heart feels restless at night, why certain names echo in your thoughts without reason, why you feel connected to someone even when there is distance, even when there is silence, even when there is confusion. And today I tell you with certainty that God has already chosen your soulmate long before you even understood what love truly meant, long before your first heartbreak, long before your first deep prayer about companionship, long before you cried silently asking why love feels delayed for you. Because while you were learning lessons, growing through pain, healing through disappointments, heaven was arranging meetings, heaven was preparing hearts, heaven was writing a name beside yours in a way that cannot be erased by fear, doubt, or time. You think you are waiting, but in truth you are being aligned. You think nothing is happening, but in truth everything is being orchestrated beyond your sight. There is a person whose heart has been shaped in ways that perfectly complement yours. Their strengths balance your weaknesses, your strengths protect their vulnerabilities. Your dreams will one day merge like two rivers becoming one powerful current. And what shocks you is not that someone is coming, what shocks you is how familiar their energy will feel, how their presence will calm storms inside you that no one else could quiet, how their voice will sound like something your soul has heard before even if your ears have not, because this connection is not accidental, it is spiritual, it is intentional, it is written in ways that go beyond logic. You may have crossed paths before without realizing it. You may have felt an unexplainable pull toward someone and dismissed it as imagination. You may have spoken a name casually without knowing your spirit reacted differently to it, and that is because when God chooses, He plants subtle signs long before the revelation becomes clear. He allows curiosity to grow before confirmation arrives. He allows longing to deepen before fulfillment appears, and right now there is movement happening in the unseen, conversations unfolding, realizations dawning, hearts softening, courage building. Someone is thinking about you more than they admit, someone feels a connection they cannot logically explain, someone has tried to distract themselves yet keeps returning to thoughts of you. Because divine selection carries weight, it carries gravity, it pulls two souls together even when pride tries to resist, even when circumstances try to delay, even when fear tries to interfere, and you might ask why. It has taken so long, why the waiting feels heavy, why others seem to find love easily while you remain in preparation, but understand this clearly. When God chooses your soulmate, it is not rushed, it is refined, it is not impulsive, it is intentional. You are not being punished by delay, you are being protected by timing, because the love chosen for you is not meant to break you, it is meant to build you. It is not meant to confuse you, it is meant to confirm you, it is not meant to drain you. It is meant to elevate you. And the name that will shock you is not shocking because it is random, it is shocking because deep down you already sensed it, you already felt something different, you already noticed how your energy shifts around this person, how your intuition becomes louder when they are near, how even silence with them feels meaningful, how small interactions leave a lasting imprint. You tried to rationalize it. You told yourself not to overthink. You questioned your own feelings, yet the pull remains, because divine choice does not fade easily, it persists gently but powerfully, and I need you to release anxiety about how it will unfold, Release the need to control every step. Release the urge to chase clarity before the right moment, because what is chosen by God does not require desperate pursuit, it requires readiness, it requires faith. It requires patience strong enough to trust what you cannot yet see, and your journey until now has not been wasted. Every heartbreak refined your standards, every disappointment strengthened your discernment, every tear cleansed illusions that would have trapped you in lesser love. You were being trained to recognize the real thing when it appears. You were being shaped to receive something sacred without sabotaging it through fear. And somewhere in this world, the person chosen for you is also being prepared. They are learning, healing, maturing, understanding what love truly means, so that when your paths align fully, you meet not as broken halves seeking rescue but as whole individuals ready to build something lasting. And when the name becomes clear, when the confirmation arrives, it will not feel chaotic, it will feel steady. It will not feel forced, it will feel natural, it will not feel confusing, it will feel certain in a quiet but undeniable way. You will look back at this moment and realize the signs were always there. The dreams, the repeated thoughts, the unexpected encounters, the sense of familiarity that never quite left, and you will understand that destiny is not loud fireworks at first, it is gentle alignment. It is repeated nudges, it is divine whispers guiding two hearts closer step by step. So do not let temporary loneliness convince you that you were forgotten. Do not let past endings make you doubt future beginnings. Do not let fear of vulnerability close the door before the right person knocks, because the love chosen for you carries peace within it, and peace is the greatest confirmation of all. And as you continue forward from this day, carry yourself with the confidence of someone who is already selected, already valued, already seen by heaven, because when God chooses your soulmate, He does not make mistakes, He does not overlook details, He does not confuse destinies, He aligns them perfectly. And the revelation of that name will not destroy you. It will complete a chapter that has been waiting patiently to begin. So trust the process unfolding, trust the preparation happening inside you, trust the timing that feels slow but is actually precise, and most importantly trust that what is meant for you will not pass you by, because the one chosen for you is being guided just as surely as you are, and when the moment arrives, it will feel less like a surprise and more like a homecoming. Your soul has been anticipating all along, and listen carefully, because what is unfolding now is deeper than excitement, deeper than curiosity. It is transformation. You are stepping into a season where signs will become stronger, where patterns will become clearer, where coincidences will stop feeling accidental and start feeling intentional. Because when divine selection moves from preparation into manifestation, everything begins to shift subtly at first and then unmistakably. You may notice your heart becoming calmer about love, you may notice desperation fading and confidence rising, you may notice that you no longer entertain connections that drain you, and that is not random growth. That is alignment taking place within you, so you can recognize the one chosen without confusion clouding your vision, because the truth is when God chooses your soulmate, He also upgrades your discernment, He strengthens your intuition, He removes attachments that would compete with what is sacred. You might have felt certain people slowly distancing from your life, conversations that once felt intense now feel empty, attractions that once seemed powerful now feel temporary, and you wondered why your emotions changed, but it was not loss, it was clearing, it was divine editing, removing names that were never written permanently beside yours, because the name that belongs to your destiny cannot be replaced by distraction, cannot be overshadowed by temporary chemistry, cannot be erased by silence. And as you move forward you will begin to sense a specific energy around one person more strongly than before, not obsessive, not chaotic, but steady, consistent, peaceful. You will realize that even when you try not to think about them, your thoughts return gently, not in anxiety but in curiosity, not in fear but in warmth, and this is how divine alignment feels. It does not scream, it reassures. It does not pressure, it confirms, and the shocking part about the name is that it may already be familiar to you. It may be someone you underestimated, someone you placed in the background of your life, someone whose presence felt simple yet meaningful, and simplicity is often mistaken for ordinary, but divine love is rarely dramatic at the beginning. It is grounded, it is patient, it grows roots before it grows branches, and you may start noticing how this person responds differently to you, how their attention carries intention, how their words hold weight, how their concern feels genuine rather than performative, because when someone is spiritually aligned with you, their actions reveal consistency over time, and consistency is the language of destiny. You have experienced inconsistency before, hot and cold behavior, promises without action, intensity without stability, but the one chosen for you will not leave you questioning your worth, will not leave you decoding mixed signals, will not leave you feeling small. Instead, their presence will elevate you, inspire you, calm you, challenge you to grow without making you feel inadequate. And this shift may feel almost unreal at first because your past conditioned you to expect turbulence, but peace can feel unfamiliar when you have been used to storms, and I need you to understand that peace is not boredom, peace is confirmation, peace is security, peace is divine approval resting on a connection that is meant to last. And as time unfolds you may experience moments of revelation where a conversation suddenly feels deeper than expected, where eye contact lingers a little longer, where silence feels intimate rather than awkward, where laughter feels healing rather than superficial, and in those small moments you will sense something awakening inside you, something that says this feels right, this feels aligned, this feels chosen, and fear may attempt to whisper that it is too good, that it may disappear, that you should guard your heart. But faith will answer that what is chosen by God does not require self-sabotage for protection, it requires trust, courage, openness, because the final stage of alignment is surrender, surrendering control over how exactly it will unfold, surrendering timelines, surrendering doubts rooted in past pain, and choosing to believe that divine timing is never late. And understand this clearly. Your soulmate is not perfect, they are human, they have flaws, they have scars, they have stories, but what makes them chosen is not perfection, it is compatibility of growth, it is alignment of values, it is shared vision, it is mutual respect, it is emotional safety, and emotional safety is rare, it is sacred, it is the foundation that allows love to flourish without fear. And when you encounter it you will feel understood rather than judged, heard rather than dismissed, supported rather than competed with, and that support will extend beyond romance into purpose, because the one chosen for you will not only love you, they will strengthen your destiny, they will push you toward your calling, they will celebrate your victories without insecurity, they will stand beside you during challenges without hesitation, and together you will build something that reflects divine intention rather than ego-driven desire. And yes, the name will shock you, because sometimes we expect destiny to arrive wrapped in fantasy, but often it stands quietly in familiarity, waiting for recognition, waiting for readiness, waiting for both hearts to mature enough to handle what they prayed for. And think about how many times you asked for clarity, how many nights you asked for true love, how many times you said you wanted something stable. Something real, something lasting, and those prayers were heard, not ignored, but answers sometimes take the shape of preparation before manifestation, and you were being prepared not only to receive love but to sustain it, because sustaining divine love requires emotional responsibility, communication, forgiveness, patience, and you are growing into those qualities more each day, even when you do not notice it consciously. And as you continue forward from this moment, watch how doors begin to open naturally rather than forcefully. Watch how conversations align rather than collapse. Watch how misunderstandings resolve rather than escalate, because when two souls are chosen for each other, obstacles become lessons instead of endings, and challenges become strengthening points instead of breaking points, and the more you trust this unfolding, the more peaceful you will feel about the unknown details, because the unknown is not empty. It is being written carefully. And I tell you now that your story is not delayed, it is designed, it is not forgotten, it is favored, it is not random, it is orchestrated with precision that your current perspective cannot fully comprehend yet. So hold your head high, carry yourself with quiet assurance, continue becoming the best version of yourself, not out of fear of losing someone but out of gratitude for what is coming. Because the revelation of that name will not be chaos, it will be clarity, it will be that moment when everything clicks into place and you realize that all the waiting, all the confusion, all the growth was guiding you here, and when that moment arrives you will not need dramatic proof, your spirit will know, your heart will rest, your mind will quiet, and you will whisper to yourself that this is why it never worked with anyone else. This is why the delays happened, this is why the lessons were necessary, because what God chooses is not temporary. It is transformative, and the love that is meant for you is closer than you think, aligning in ways you cannot yet see, preparing to step fully into your life at the exact moment you are ready to embrace it without fear, without doubt, without hesitation. And when you finally speak that name with certainty, it will not just shock you, it will free you, because you will know that destiny was never against you, it was guiding you all along. And now feel this deeply, because the next phase is not just about revelation, it is about activation. Something inside you is already shifting as you read this. Something is awakening that refuses to settle for confusion any longer, because when destiny begins to accelerate it does not ask for permission from fear, it simply moves, and you may notice an unusual boldness rising within you, a desire to be more authentic, more honest about your feelings, less willing to tolerate half-love, less willing to shrink yourself to keep someone comfortable, and this is not coincidence. This is preparation meeting opportunity. This is your spirit aligning with what has already been written, because the one chosen for you is not attracted to a masked version of you. They are aligned with your real energy, your real voice, your real heart, and every time you step closer to authenticity, you step closer to them. You might start experiencing synchronicities that feel almost cinematic, hearing their name unexpectedly, dreaming about conversations that feel vivid, sensing their presence strongly even in physical absence, and instead of dismissing these moments you will begin to observe them carefully, because divine alignment often announces itself softly before it manifests loudly. And understand this clearly: the universe does not tease with destiny, it prepares you for it. So if you feel something intensifying around a specific connection, do not panic, do not overanalyze, do not sabotage it before it has space to breathe, because what is chosen requires nurturing, not fear-driven reaction. And the shocking truth is this: your soulmate may be closer in your current reality than you imagine, not a stranger from a distant land, not a fantasy figure waiting in some unknown future, but someone already orbiting your life in subtle ways, someone whose path keeps crossing yours for reasons that cannot be explained by randomness alone, and think about the emotional safety you crave, the peace you desire, the loyalty you pray for. Those qualities are not dreams planted in you to remain unfulfilled, they are signals of what is assigned to you. You do not crave what is not aligned with your destiny, your heart recognizes what it was designed to receive, and the more you release past attachments the clearer this chosen connection becomes, because attachment to what was blocks clarity for what is, and perhaps you have been holding on to a memory, a past lover, a version of someone who never fully showed up, and you told yourself that was your soulmate, but deep inside you felt unrest, inconsistency, doubt, and divine love does not produce chronic doubt, it produces reassurance, and reassurance may not always be loud but it is steady, it is calm, it is grounding, and when you are around the one chosen for you your nervous system will not feel threatened, it will feel safe, your mind will not spiral into insecurity, it will feel clear, your heart will not beg for crumbs, it will feel valued. And this is how you will know the name is real, because the experience will match the promise, the peace will match the prayer, the connection will match the vision you have carried quietly inside for years, and let me tell you something powerful, the delay you experienced was divine filtration, removing people who admired your surface but could not handle your depth, removing connections that were based on excitement but lacked endurance, removing situations that felt intense but were not intentional, because intensity without intention leads to heartbreak, but intention with consistency leads to legacy, and the love chosen for you is legacy love, it is foundation-building love, it is partnership love, it is growth-oriented love, and as this unfolds you may feel moments of vulnerability that test your readiness, moments where you must choose trust over self-protection, openness over withdrawal. Communication over silence, because destiny requires participation. God may choose the soulmate but you must choose courage, you must choose maturity, you must choose to break patterns that once sabotaged good things, and that is why this season feels transformative, because you are not the same person you were during past connections, you are wiser now, stronger now, more self-aware now. And that growth is the bridge between you and the one written for you, and when the name becomes undeniable, it will not come with chaos, it will come with clarity that feels almost sacred, a quiet certainty that settles into your bones, a realization that you do not need to force this, you do not need to chase this, you do not need to compete for this, because what is yours will recognize you effortlessly, and the shocking element is not drama, it is simplicity, the simplicity of mutual effort, the simplicity of balanced communication, the simplicity of shared goals, and simplicity in love is often underestimated because people are conditioned to equate chaos with passion, but true passion grows safely within stability, it thrives where trust exists, it deepens where respect is mutual, and the one chosen for you will not be threatened by your ambition, will not be intimidated by your growth, will not be confused about their feelings for you. They will be clear, intentional, present. And presence is one of the rarest gifts in modern love, and you deserve presence, not partial attention. Not inconsistent affection, but full-hearted engagement, and as you move closer to this revelation you will feel your standards solidify, you will no longer negotiate your worth for temporary comfort, you will no longer entertain mixed signals as romance. You will no longer mistake potential for commitment, because divine alignment teaches discernment through experience. And every lesson you endured was shaping your capacity to recognize what is real, and do not be surprised if the person Chosen for you also feels an awakening at the same time, because destiny often activates both souls simultaneously. You may sense their energy becoming more expressive, more attentive, more vulnerable, because courage is contagious when two hearts are aligned, and the moment of confirmation will not require dramatic declarations. It may arrive in a simple conversation where honesty flows effortlessly, where truths are spoken without fear, where future plans are mentioned naturally rather than avoided, and in that moment you will realize that this is different, this is grounded, this is intentional, this is safe, and safety in love is revolutionary when you have known instability, and from that point forward your story will begin to shift from waiting to building, from hoping to creating, from imagining to experiencing. Because the chapter of uncertainty will close quietly and the chapter of partnership will open steadily, and you will look back at every tear, every rejection, every lonely night and understand that none of it was punishment, it was preparation, it was alignment, it was protection guiding you towards something that required you to become stronger before receiving it, and now you are stronger, now you are clearer, now you are ready. And the name that once felt distant will feel destined, the connection that once felt uncertain will feel solid, and the future that once felt delayed will feel divinely timed. So hold on to faith a little longer, continue refining yourself, continue trusting your intuition, continue believing that what is meant for you cannot miss you. Because when God chooses your soulmate, the story may take time, but it never loses direction, it moves with precision, it unfolds with purpose, and when the final confirmation arrives it will not just shock you, it will anchor you, it will ground you in a love that feels like home, a love that feels earned, a love that feels aligned with every prayer you whispered when no one else was listening. And in that realization you will understand that destiny was never late, it was always right on time, and this is the final layer of the revelation, the part where everything that once felt mysterious begins to make complete sense, because destiny is not only about meeting the right person, it is about becoming the right version of yourself at the exact moment alignment locks into place. And you are standing at that threshold now, whether you fully realize it or not, the old version of you who begged for clarity, who overgave to feel chosen, who ignored red flags just to avoid loneliness, that version has been shedding quietly, and in its place stands someone wiser, someone calmer, someone who understands that love is not something to chase but something to recognize. And recognition is powerful because when you truly recognize what is meant for you, confusion loses its grip, anxiety softens, urgency fades, and trust rises naturally, and this is why the name that is about to be revealed in your life will not feel chaotic, it will feel inevitable, it will feel like a truth that was always there waiting for you to be ready enough to accept it without fear. And think about how much you have grown emotionally, how your reactions have matured, how your standards have sharpened, how your intuition has strengthened. Those changes were not random personality shifts, they were divine upgrades preparing you to sustain the love that is chosen for you, because sustaining sacred love requires emotional discipline, self-respect, patience, and accountability. And you have been learning all of that through experiences you once called painful but now can see were purposeful. Every disappointment filtered your desires, every betrayal clarified your boundaries, every silence forced you to listen to your inner voice more closely. And that inner voice has been guiding you toward one specific direction even when your mind resisted it. There has always been a subtle knowing inside you about a certain energy, a certain presence, a certain name that lingered longer than the rest, and maybe you doubted it because it seemed too simple, too unexpected, or even too close to your current reality. But divine selection does not follow human expectation, it follows spiritual alignment, and alignment often hides in plain sight until readiness activates recognition. And now readiness is rising within you. You are no longer attracted to inconsistency disguised as passion. You are no longer impressed by temporary intensity without long-term vision. You crave stability, depth, shared purpose, emotional safety, and these desires are signals that you are tuned into what was assigned to you long ago, because the soulmate chosen for you was not selected based on surface attraction alone but on compatibility of purpose, on harmony of growth, on shared evolution. And when two people are aligned at that level, the connection feels different. It feels expansive rather than draining. It feels empowering rather than confusing. It feels grounding rather than destabilizing, and that grounded feeling is your confirmation, not fireworks that burn out quickly but a steady flame that endures. And do not mistake steadiness for lack of excitement, because true excitement grows from security. When you feel safe you can open fully, when you feel valued you can love boldly, when you feel understood you can express yourself without fear of rejection, and this kind of environment is what divine love creates. And as you step into this final stage of realization you will notice that your fear of losing love decreases because you understand something deeper now. What is chosen for you cannot be stolen by competition, cannot be destroyed by misunderstanding that is meant to teach, cannot be removed by temporary distance, because destiny anchored in divine intention withstands storms that would break superficial connections. And the person whose name is written beside yours is not perfect, but they are perfectly aligned with your growth journey. They will challenge you in healthy ways. They will call you higher without tearing you down. They will communicate even when it feels uncomfortable. They will stay present even when life becomes demanding, and presence is proof of intention, and intention is proof of alignment. And when you observe consistent intention you will no longer need to question where you stand, because clarity replaces doubt naturally, and this is where your faith becomes action. You must meet destiny halfway by choosing vulnerability over avoidance, honesty over silence, patience over impulsiveness, because the final test before manifestation is often courage, courage to trust again, courage to open your heart without guarantees of perfection, courage to believe that what you prayed for is finally within reach, and you have that courage inside you even if past wounds try to convince you otherwise. And understand something profound. The reason the name will shock you is because you once underestimated how close your blessing was. You thought it required dramatic arrival, you thought it needed grand gestures to be real, but often the most powerful love begins quietly, in conversations that feel easy, in moments that feel natural, in shared laughter that feels healing, and over time those simple interactions build unshakable foundations. And when you look into their eyes and sense mutual understanding without excessive explanation, when you speak your dreams and see genuine support instead of silent competition, when you express your fears and feel reassurance instead of dismissal, you will know that this is not ordinary connection, this is divine orchestration reaching completion, and the completion does not mean the end of growth, it means the beginning of partnership, where growth becomes shared, where goals become united, where victories are celebrated together and challenges are faced side by side. And that unity is what your heart has been searching for all along, not perfection but partnership, not fantasy but foundation, not temporary thrill but lasting peace, and peace will be your ultimate confirmation, because peace in love is rare yet unmistakable. It calms your overthinking, it silences your insecurity, it strengthens your confidence, and you deserve that kind of love not because you are flawless but because you are evolving, because you are willing to learn, because you are brave enough to believe again. And as this chapter closes and the next one prepares to open fully, remember this truth deeply: nothing that happened before was wasted time, it was shaping you, refining you, aligning you step by step toward this exact point. And when the name finally becomes clear in your reality, when the confirmation arrives in words, actions, and consistency, you will not feel chaos, you will feel gratitude, you will feel relief, you will feel a quiet whisper inside saying, this is it. This is why it never worked before. This is why the waiting was necessary. This is why the lessons were repeated until learned, because divine timing does not rush what is sacred, it prepares it, protects it, perfects it in ways unseen, and now you stand ready not just to receive love but to sustain it, to nurture it, to grow within it. And that is the final revelation: God did not just choose your soulmate. He prepared you both separately so that when your paths merge completely you build something that reflects purpose rather than impulse, something that lasts beyond emotion, something that strengthens through seasons. And as you step forward from this message, carry certainty instead of doubt, carry faith instead of fear, carry patience instead of panic, because what is written for you is already moving toward fulfillment, and when it arrives fully it will not just shock you, it will anchor you in a love that feels like destiny fulfilled, a love that feels like home found, a love that confirms without confusion that what was chosen for you was worth every moment of waiting. And this is where the story transforms from longing into living, from hoping into holding, from dreaming into experiencing, and you will realize that destiny was never hiding from you, it was guiding you patiently to this final, beautiful alignment.